did you first grow curious about the paranormal? Dare you dig deeper? You are listening to Hounds of Asher.
Jeezum Crow, everybody. Hey, it's Steve Asher here at the House of Asher. Um, I ain't no Ted Kaczynski, but I kind of get it. I am definitely an analog kind of guy. Your modern ways confuses and scares caveman radio guy. So, anyway, here we are, though. I think we're going to get through it. And as you know, Halloween nears, which Halloween's always here, but for you straights, Halloween nears. And so anyway, well, I've got a buddy of mine that's been off and on here, and we've worked on different shows together here and there and whatnot. Kirsten Klang, how you doing, Kirsten?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks
For
having me on.
The Big K. That's that's probably not a nickname a woman wants. The Big K.
They call me Red at the cemetery.
They call me Tater Salad. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Don't know why. I'm not even a big what's his name? Something White fan. But anytime I hear this, they call me, and inadvertently Tater Salad comes to mind. But
because it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Anyway, thank you for being on. And I think this is like episode. I should know this. I think I did like a 115. It says like 116, 117, whatever. You guys, it doesn't matter, but because we're here and now. Why live in the past? But
right.
So dig it. I should probably say. Some of you guys may be listening to me on my little YouTube channel, and if you like it, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Maybe you've checked it out from going to the Steve E. Asher webpage, which has stuff about my show and blah, 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 my books and whatnot. Or you maybe check me out on Spreaker, iHearts, iTunes, Spotify, and also on a pretty big thing for me, Paranormal UK Radio, which is kind enough to send my stuff around the globe or around the flat Earth, depending on where you're at on that. I don't know. It's kind of that's a hard sell for me, flat Earth. Let me ask you that right off jump. Where are you at on that?
Flat Earth? Me?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Actually, I like to send memes to people who think the Earth is flat and make fun of them. So, yeah, it wouldn't be me.
Well, it's correct. I did a. Okay, a little shameless plug.
The funniest one is actually a picture of a cat, and it said that if the Earth was flat, the cats of the Earth would have knocked everything off of the Earth already. There would be nothing.
Or grandbabies. Grandbabies are the same way. They knock everything off. I swear my grandbaby's a cat. But no, like I had wrote a thing called The Great Mud Flood, the history that we forgot. And it talked about the Great Tartan Empire, supposedly, way back, and there was a great big cataclysm called the Mud Flood. But a lot of people that believe that are 108 zillion% on board for the flat Earth thing. I'm not. I'm not saying, I don't know. I've been in an airplane, and it appears, like you get high enough, it looks like it curves. I've not been off planet, so I don't know. And I've heard everybody say, well, they're using one of those, what is it called? I don't know if you ever liked the Beastie Boys growing up, but they always would have those fisheye lenses where everything looked rounded.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if they're using that, or is that what they're trying to say, or I don't know. It's wonky.
And that Australia doesn't exist. That Australia isn't even there.
Okay. So where the hell they come from?
Australia's there. It's there, dude. There's not this big conspiracy to fool you. I'm sorry. I mean, I believe in conspiracies at this point, but it would take so much to do it. It's like,
so where?
It's too far.
So where do the Australians come from then?
Where do what?
Where do the Australians come from then? I mean, what I'm trying to say, what's their argument? Well, there's these people, there's a government and all this stuff. Where are they from? Is it from another planet?
I guess they're saying that they're all from, we're all from the same plane. We're all from like the same pancake. But there's a big conspiracy to make them seem like they're from somewhere else. I guess.
Okay. I would come closer to believing.
That's what they explained to me, and I'm like,
okay.
What?
I would believe this
I'm sorry, it's
No, it's okay. I would come closer to believing that, okay, this is like Top Earth. Like, remember, like, you ever seen the Stranger Things where it's got the upside down?
Yep.
Okay, I would come closer going, okay, there's the daylight world and there's the night world. There's a yin, there's a yang.
Yep.
And the bottom we can't get to. But some of them can come from there to here, and that's Australia. They live in the land of shadows or something. I don't know. It's sunny there, but they live in the land of shadows. I don't know, man.
Maybe they do. I don't know. But they're really happy people. And honestly, they're really nice. Honestly, Australians. I get along with them.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the flat earth folks. They might be very nice. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, because their land doesn't exist. I suppose they have bees going, right?
I guess, man. I don't know. Okay, you remember like when people used to believe that there was like, he's got a bad fever. Well, there's ghost in his blood. That's the problem. We need to bleed him. We need to put a leech on him. We need to put a penny under his tongue and make him sit under an oak tree over here. And, have an albino lick his warts or something, and he'll be fine.
Lick his warts.
Well, no, that's the thing. Did you ever? I mean, okay, let's go there. Did you know there actually is some? There's science.
Because we're in the paranormal doesn't mean we have to believe everything. You know what I mean? I know we feel like we have to entertain everything, and I do. I entertain their ideas. I do. But am I going to sign on? No, maybe not.
Okay,
No,
dig this. This is something I just heard about. Okay, you know that old saying of going like, okay, if you have like a wart or something like that, lick it in the morning, and within X amount of time it'll go away. Supposedly, there's a certain amount of acid or something that builds up on your tongue, maybe from your stomach, and it's like, and you lick it, and a little bit of that gets on it, and it slowly eats it away.
Well, I want you to try it first.
Luckily, I'm fresh out of warts. I don't have any warts. If Lemmy was still around, I wouldn't lick his warts either, but I would suggest it.
Go squeeze a frog. You just gotta go squeeze a frog. Cause
frogs
you
are
get warts
cool.
from frogs, right?
No,
or from toads.
I don't know. Frogs are cool. I like them. They eat mosquitoes. I have not met anybody that just loves mosquitoes. If so, I don't want to. I can't talk to those people. I don't like mosquitoes.
Oh, I know. Toads just pee on you. They don't give you warts. I mean, I have toads all over the place up here.
Dude, man, if somebody picked you up that's 20 times your size and squeezed you, I think you'd piss too. Yeah.
No kidding, right?
My wife can sneeze and pee. She's got like mama bladder now. Everybody in Radio Land, my wife has mama bladder, and like she can laugh too hard and tinkle a little bit. Not crazy, just like I gotta go to the bathroom.
I have all us ladies after we have a couple of kids.
Yeah. Guys don't have
Unfortunately.
that. We don't have a like.
Yeah, if a ghost scares you, jumps up behind you. Halloween time's coming. Get your Depends because you're gonna pee your pants. Something scares you, something makes you laugh, you sneeze, you're gonna pee.
Okay, marketing idea.
Part of our reality.
Marketing idea. Have some ghost hunter type Depends. Okay. Yeah. And it's like it has like little ghosts appear on it, like if something goes on. And no, think about it, man. Think about it. This is a thing, and it says you want to go out, you want to go ghost hunting. But you don't want everybody to know that you're rocking the cotton, So, which I guess it could be the same thing for alternative underwear. I mean, I've seen some alternative underwear.
Alternative underwear because, I think that's more pleasant, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to call it, man. I don't want to say adult diapers because that sounds really demeaning.
No, it just sounds demeaning. I think. I mean, even if you put if you make them in black, because of course, being ghost hunter, we would have to have them in black.
Yeah.
So.
Or if you get them, like, say, if for older people that were, like, in law enforcement, you could have blue. And they could even call it, I'm wearing my security. Sure. I've got my security pants on. Oh, your security. Yeah, that sounds tactical. It sounds like you could, like,
you have them in blue.
Like, you'll have the flaps in them. Yeah. You could pull out some of your gear on the side. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyway.
Right.
So make sure to send all your hate mail to.
Well, they just finally started making them with lace on them, for gosh sakes. I think we're asking a lot.
Yeah. It'll be all right. I don't know. I'm sure if certain shows would like wear them, everybody is wanting to be ghost hunters to run out and get them. Just because.
If they put Zach Baggins in them.
Oh, God, you pulled out the Zach.
I know a bunch of chicks that would be right on that.
Poor Zach.
They'd be like,
I almost feel bad for Zach, except, he's like...
What's that?
I almost feel bad for Zach, being, like, young, like, jacked and, like, wealthy.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard. But, But, yeah, he gets a lot of hate. he does wonky stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not like a super Baggins fan. In fact, just when I think of he comes up when I think of Paranormal Groupies. You know, that's kind of when I think about him. I mean, he's done some things that were kind of cool in the field. I don't begrudge the guy. He's done some stuff. And he definitely has been an active investigator, which I gotta give him credit, because a lot of people say they're investigators and never actually investigate anything.
Right.
So he's actually done some work, but
and he's doing his thing.
There's a lot of chicks that are just hot for the guy, and he's how old is he? He's like my age now, isn't he? He's like in his late 40s, right?
See, how dare you? I'm almost 50. You guys talk like 40, like it's get to the pins. I mean, yeah, groupies. Let's talk paranormal groupies for a minute. Have you ever had a paranormal group, or maybe not or a stalker, paranormal stalkers? You ever had one of those?
Not really. No. They're mostly chicks. I found that they're chicks. So yeah, they look a certain way. They look like a rock band groupie, but
they're just
like
a
the
different
vibe, really.
Like they stopped following like Warren around and started chasing like Jason and Jason and them, Jason and Grant. Man, I don't know. I've had I wouldn't necessarily say like group. I've had some people that were real wonky, and you're talking to them, and then you kind of notice like, oh, they're not really connected to this reality. They're somewhere else. And that's
for sure.
Yeah, and it happens. You'll find it. Well, I mean, I won't get deep. You'll find it in radio. You'll find it in books. You'll find it in, just like you said. I guarantee there's somebody in your area who's like, I'd really like to go on an investigation. You know, I can tell when it's a demon right off. Like, slow down.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst. I hate that. I see ghosts everywhere. Then I don't want you on the team because there ain't ghosts. I mean, I ain't saying there are ghosts everywhere, but they're not. But don't make up anything.
I love to give people chances, and I think that's one of the struggles with having your own team is, you want fresh blood, you want new people, you want energy in your team, you want to have people that'll go all the time, which is just enough of a struggle to begin with, and then you get a lot of people that are looky-loos, and they say, oh, I'd like to come out with you, and then you go, okay, let's do it. Let's do it, because I'm one of those let's do it people.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they're like, oh, gosh, I don't know, gosh. I'm like, you didn't want to. You just wanted to say that you
this
wanted
month
to.
Ain't good, yeah. I want the shirt. I want the shirt to walk around and to be able to flex with it and stuff. Well, no, I've never been a big team guy, but I've never tried to really exclude people. But there's certain times when you're doing certain things, you kind of got to. You can't pollute the waters, as it were, because it's not an exact science to start with, and
you have to have the right people. Absolutely,
you have to be able to trust them, not just with investigations, but gear and stuff.
Yep.
Unless you got a clipboard and go, okay, you got Radio 1, you got this and that, almost like you're like you have an inventory. Because I've had equipment take off. I've had stuff like, no, I put the thing, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
I've never had that happen.
You know what? But that was a lesson for me.
Yeah, unfortunate one, I'm sure.
Did you hear the church bells?
What do you do?
Did you hear those?
Are you there?
Yeah. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't hear your last bit.
Oh, I said, did you hear the church bells? So they're tolling.
Oh no! Did they toll for thee?
Hope not.
Oh, so tell me about the brain in the jar thing you were talking about earlier.
Brains in jar, man! You've already went off the rails with it. It is science fiction-y. It's really trippy. Tell you what, let me pull that cat up real quick because we were talking about it. Okay, so there's this guy. Actually, was a St. Louis lawyer. I guess he had some sort of medical expertise. Maybe he did pre-med and then pre-law. I don't know what he did. Anyway, but he wrote under the name Chet Fleming, which sounds like a gumshoe detective, or like Chet. It's just got a seedy vibe to it. It's almost like a porn name, like Buck Naked or something. Anyway, but this guy, he made this device, and he described it as a cabinet, and it has a series of tubes and all this and that. And the head basically gets removed, and it's patented. This guy went and patented this, right? And so he would have, circulate blood and through all these tubes with types of nutrients infused in them, and they would deoxygenate the blood going away, and it just had this great big loop. It was sort of like what's the thing you have like when you have like dialysis? It's almost like a dialysis or something. What in the world? Is that you or me? I don't know. It's one of us. That is super strange. Are you still there? Come on, man. Hold on a second. Well, that was extremely weird, folks. Let's try this. You've got to love live radio. So as we're ringing and trying to get Kirsten back, do make sure to go check out stevieasher.com. And please, like I said, do check us out on YouTube. I will be having the History from the Dark Side series coming out pretty soon. And with any hope, we will be able to actually see some of that coming through. All right, let's see what's going on. Hey, it's ringing now. Look at that.
Steve.
My God.
Just crashed.
Where'd you go, bro?
Big time. It just, boom, it was down. And I couldn't get it back up for a minute, so I couldn't see my screen. It all got dark. It was weird.
It's Severed Head.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's the Severed Head Syndicate.
The curse of the severed head.
That's what it is, man. The Severed Head Syndicate was trying to shut us down. But, so anyway, where were we at? We were talking about the tubes in the head. The tubes.
Yeah, the lawyer that patented it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is nothing. This is not new. This is which first thing my brain goes to is like Nazis. It had to be Nazis, but it was like they were trying to do this stuff like back in. Well, I mean, I'm sure they probably did it forever, but anyway, scientifically, like 1912s, 1920s, early 1930s, and then it kind of fell out of vogue, of course, because the war and everything. But this guy, it was like in 1970s, I think. And there was this big, of course, he's Frankenstein, and he's doing this and that, and then there's jokes. But there's a guy, an Italian guy, trying to think of his, I don't know. Let's just, I don't know his name. Luigi. Okay, I'm throwing the name out. Just a name. Come on now.
His name was Luigi?
Let's be real.
An Italian guy?
Be real. What's the odds? Now, if his name was like Chin Duck Sow or something like that, that would sound sort of wonky. The Italian, Ted the Italian guy. So, Ted was trying to do something very similar to that, where he was doing it with monkey heads. I mean, he wasn't doing it with monkey heads. He was doing the procedure with monkey heads. And supposedly the monkeys would be looking around, and like if you moved something in front of them, their eyes would fall away. It's really screwy. But I don't know if you want to call that living, but there was a movie called The Brain That Wouldn't Die from back in the day. I don't know if you ever watched it. And oh, dude, and I'm sitting there. I don't want to be a severed head or reanimator. I don't want to be in reanimator either.
Yeah, reanimator. No, thanks. No.
But
no, thanks.
But I mean, if you think about the applications of it, say you, I don't know, got in a really bad smelting accident. Why are you smelting? I don't know. But the point is, you got your body really twisted up or jacked up or whatever. Yeah. Say you had just some bone disease or something. They can save the head, but they're not able to save the spinal column yet. Because if they can save the spinal column, head and all, then if they can reattach stuff that responds to the neurons from the brain, you might have two brains, then it would work. But so I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst idea.
No, it's not. It's not the worst idea. I mean, but honestly, I could see it as like a temporary thing between, bodies, but to exist as a head sitting there and not, I don't know. I suppose they could make a robotic body, but, I don't know. I just don't see it being something that would be a long-term solution.
I want to,
because infection, how would you handle that?
Well, I'm assuming they would have a certain amount of, you couldn't set up infection if they're cleaning your blood constantly, right? Like they would have a machine that would act like your lymph nodes that would pull all that stuff out. I'm just thinking, I don't know how much Futurama you watched, but you remember the thing where they had Beck was a human, it was just a severed head, and they turned him into like a robot musician again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for Robot Beck to come out.
You could be Robot Steve.
No, I don't walk around enough as it is. I need to walk around more. But dude, I did yesterday. Totally unparanormal, but we had a little thing called the Black Patch Festival because this is the area of Kentucky where they grew a lot of a certain type of tobacco that was known as Black Patch. It was a real dark tobacco that was like a coveted tobacco back in the day when tobacco was the bomb. So we went down there and did that. Took the kids around, took the grandkids, blah blah blah. Bought some like little blow-up aliens, which I've got one in my little studio here on the wall in International Horror right behind me. And so it was a good day. But I went, Christ, I'm out of shape. So I'm like, hey, put me in a jar. That's fine. I just don't want to be underwater. That I'm very paranoid like that. I don't think I want to.
You want to be underwater?
I don't want to be.
Oh.
No, who the hell says, stick my head under water forever. Not me. No.
I don't know. Maybe somebody really, really had a thing for,
Aquaman or something? What you want to... Patrick Duffy era Aquaman. That's the only Aquaman I knew. The man from Atlantis. Or the guy from the cartoon.
I forgot about Aquaman.
Dude,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That is really... back some old stuff there.
No, man, but have you seen the new one where it's got the little hunky guy running around? And all the girls are like, girl. I'm like, come on, man. Leave that boy alone.
What year was that out? I can't even remember what year that was out.
Now, you talking about the Super Friends and all that stuff? Or are you talking about the new one, the new Aquaman?
Like Patrick Duffy. I forgot all about that.
Oh, bro,
I forgot about it.
That's where I live. That's right. That was right in the mid to early 70s, I think. Anybody that's listening, if you're listening to this on YouTube, type in. I know it was like the man from Atlantis. I think it was before Dallas and all that, which was in the 80s. So this was probably late to middle 70s. Anybody knows it, send it, and I'll give you an attaboy.
That's why I barely remember it, but I remember it a little bit.
Well, see,
because I was probably in the 5-6 area, 5 or 6 years old.
See, us old timers remember that stuff.
Oh well, I'm not so far behind you.
It's all good. I'll take it.
I'll take it. I don't know. My brother would remember all of that stuff, but he's gone now. So a lot of that was lost. But I found his booklet with all of his Farrah Fawcett memorabilia.
Wow.
And he had a thing for Farrah Fawcett.
Who didn't?
Lee Majors when they were married in there, and it was really interesting. He had that all in a scrapbook. Pretty cool.
I have you two interesting stories that go directly to Farrah Fawcett and also Lee Majors. So, I have a Christmas picture. I'll have to dig it out. We used to they would put a Santa Claus house, like they'll pull in the little houses by the courthouse, which they used to. I don't know if they do it anymore, and you can go see Santa, and you can tell him, I want a Ryder pistol, BB gun, or I want a Sally Talks a Lot, or whatever little thing you want. I want a football. Anyway, and you go there and talk to Santa. Well, I had a picture on there, and do you know what a cowlick is?
Yep.
Okay. For you that are not familiar with that term, you may call it something different. A cowlick is when you have, say if you have bangs, and when part of it goes wonk, pops up like it's lipped up. Okay, it's a cowlick. And we never had a cow. I don't know where they come from, but anyway, I had a bunch of cowlicks. Anyway, I'm sitting there with my little cowlick haircut, and I've got a Farrah Fawcett shirt where she's kind of got her knee pulled up and her head kind of tossed back. You know that real famous poster? And I had that on like an iron-on, like straight up 70s iron-on. And so I'm writing a book about Kentucky counties, and one of the counties, there was a town called Middleborough. Middleborough was built in the middle of a caldera, which is a big meteor strike, like an early Pleistocene, way before humans era impact. And Lee Majors comes from a little town called Middleborough, Kentucky. And my wife was at a con not long ago. It was the I'm going to get in trouble because I'm not going to say this right. The Bubba Fest. What you call it? Yeah, it's a cool name. The Bubba Fest convention. It's really cool. It had. I don't know if you do much anime. It had Vic Mignola on there. I'm trying to get on the show. It had Lee Majors. It had not Clint Eastwood. Who's the guy that can like beat everybody up? Chuck Norris. Bunch of people. I met
Chuck Norris.
They met Lee Majors, and he just come over, got a picture, and she told him about, my husband's writing a book about your town. He's like, it's really cool. I want to hear more about it. And met Flash Gordon, like the guy who played Flash Gordon. Really super nice guy too. So anyway, where was I even going with that story? Flash Gordon, Farrah Fawcett, 70s. That's what it was. Yeah, there was a lot of cool, crazy shows in the 70s. Bigfoot and Wild Boy, and was it Electra Girl and Spatula Woman or something? I forgot what it was called. But there was a bunch. Oh
gosh.
Like Electro Gal, or Hydro Woman and Electro Gal.
I get that. That was before my time.
Yeah,
I'm assuming. It was like late 60s, maybe early 70s.
It was, mid 70s. But I saw a lot of that stuff in reruns and stuff. Just like Star Trek, that was before my time. But
I remember Wonder Woman quite well. I remember that.
Wonder Woman. I remember the song because it always plays on MeTV, like before Spenguli comes on or something. Because I'm old. Because I have to watch. That's the thing. You get old. You get to my age. You watch MeTV and World War II documentaries. I don't watch the Bash Channel yet, but I'm getting there.
I don't get to watch anything. I have kids.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cartoons.
Watch, Remy stuff.
Well, I've been doing
Although he likes spooky stuff, my kid's spooky, so it works out well.
Spooky behavior.
You probably saw maybe you saw some of his artwork that I posted on my Facebook page.
You need to post more of that. You need to do.
He draws some pretty spooky stuff.
Get that boy a scholarship, or what do you call it? Not a tutorage. What's the thing where they go, hey, come on in and we'll put you up on the walls and teach you all this and that and teach you the craft. An apprenticeship. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
apprenticeship to be a paranormal investigator. Oh, he'll be investigating with me at some point. I'll be probably so old that I'll be pretty much he'll have to push me through the, in the wheelchair. But
I think.
Although it's interesting, as far as I had a friend that walked with a walker, and she actually wanted to go investigating with me. Well, so I took her with, and she was getting touched a lot in the cemetery. I mean, they were touching her and touching her hands. And
was Kevin Spacey or Joe Biden in this graveyard?
Yeah. I think that they remember the physical infirmities, and they were, maybe showing their concern or something. Because that's a really nice cemetery. They're really friendly there. So I was kind of thinking that maybe that's what they were doing, but she even commented on it, and she said it was kind of strange how nice the ghosts were, how nice they were to her, and they seemed very sympathetic. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool,
Well, yeah.
You think that some of that's been left behind on Earth, that we, but we're still human. Our whole essence is still there. It's just,
right. People
kind of forget that you were a human being, that you had a body once. So,
well, that's better than being in a bro graveyard and stuff, where they're trying to trip you and pants you or something, push you into the girls' ghost bathroom or something.
Although that does happen from what I hear. I don't know. From the house I'm in, actually, right now, I'm working in a house right at this moment. You probably heard the air compressor come on because we forgot to pull the plug. But my friend just told me that the house is haunted, that there is a female spirit that resides here, and that she kind of keeps to herself, but if she doesn't like you, she will make herself known, and she will be kind of naughty about that, I guess. And she's real protective of children. So as far as I'm concerned, she's good with me, Yeah. But I haven't seen anything really. I saw a little flit of some sort, but I haven't really seen too much. I'm kind of surprised. She told me that there was something here. But she said this was kind of like one of her second homes, and that that her friends had lived here for years and had, like, the owner's brother, that the spirit did not like him, and it would make his stuff disappear, and I guess, and appear to him and stuff like that. Yeah, interesting.
That is odd. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that depending on what ghosts or even what they really are, I mean, I have no idea. Just people, I think they just expect you to just walk around rattling chains and whatever. Because I think I do think some that are in a looping situation that are reliving a certain moment, be it a moment of terror or be it a moment of going in the morning. I mean, how many times you've heard, like, I hear somebody rattling around in the kitchen, sound like they're frying up bacon. I go down there's nobody there. It's like, which the scariest part of that is, damn, there isn't any bacon for me. But that's, so it's more of like that's their happy place. That's their, like, they don't get that it's not every day. That's not the regular life, So, which is, who knows? I mean,
I did smell something here, which I'm not an olfactory kind of sensitive in general, but it smelled like bread baking, and I was kind of surprised. I thought that maybe it was coming from the next house, but these people are not the bread baking type on either side, so I figure it might have been something, but I'm not 100% sure about it.
So are we talking regular bread, cinnamon bread, raisin, what?
Not raisin cinnamon, no.
Sourdough. Dang, okay.
Nope, just plain old bread.
You can't go wrong with bread, especially if it's home-baked bread. Get out.
Right.
I'll take that.
Right, when it's still soft. Oh, yeah, that's the bomb.
Dude.
I mean, in fact, she could use the oven. I'll bring the stuff in. She could just do it. And then when I come in, as long as it's warm when I get here, we're good.
All right.
We're good.
Okay, another business idea. Get about six or seven little, hearths or whatever. Bring in the stuff. They make the stuff. You sell it at paranormal conventions. Call it haunted hearth products. Everything's made by ghosts.
By ghosts.
By ghosts.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
It's an idea.
Well, a lot of them do, stuff. But like my friend's situation he lives kind of out in the Tules, but it's a town called Embarrass, and it's actually spelled the way it sounds.
Okay.
And he actually he's played chess with a ghost out there, which he would move one night, and then the ghost would move another night, and then he would move another night, and it went for quite a while. And then eventually it just stopped. We don't know why, but he just stopped. So, yeah, I don't know. I have never investigated out there, but I know he would like me to, but Daryl's not exactly the neatest person in the world either, so I love him to death, but it's pretty much a death trap out there, so
come on.
I don't think trudging around in the woods is such a good idea. He's got a lot of stuff and old cars and parts and pieces and
probably whatnot. Raccoons and snakes.
He says there's a cemetery there. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Daryl, man. Come on. You're gonna invite people in, and that's one thing that sucks. You have one or two people. You have some people that are like, well, the house is not like, look, I'm not here to see your house. I said, if I can get through it and there's not like 40 cats, I can do it. If it's like a scene of hoarders or something and it's stuff is trying to fall on me, when I've been in a place where the stuff was trying to fall, I'm walking around like, we can't do this, or you have those people that, like you said, are just, they got other stuff going on too.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what it's like doing an investigation. It's always a wild card. You never know what you're going to get when you walk in that door. And sometimes, because if you've got so much stuff, how are you ever going to go through that data? I mean, it's hard. Right. It's hard enough. You can't tell if there's anything behind that big pile of stuff. You don't know if there's electrical outlet or not. Probably the person doesn't either. So, are you getting a reading for nothing? You don't know. Right. It's tough.
And if you're walking through areas and stuff shifting, or you're walking through and you're ruffling up against papers and making a sound, if it's an echoey area, is that a voice or is that, 1945 newspapers stacked up in a corner?
Right, exactly. Exactly. That's the challenge of our pastime, I guess. Is it more of a pastime, isn't it? Or is it a job for us? I don't know. I don't think of it as a job. It's a hobby more for.
It depends. If we're talking about the ghost hunting or the stuff that's related to ghost hunting, I don't know. It depends. Sometimes it can be a labor of love because sometimes it can be a real wonky situation. But more often than not, yeah. I mean, you get a certain amount of pleasure out of it. So I would consider it work.
That's why I kind of wonder why a lot of the Zach Bagans is like bringing him up again. Like, it's a job for them, And I always said that, as far as a career goes, that you should, you shouldn't pick something that you love, because if you love it, you'll stop loving it. Kind of like, make your job your wife, not your mistress, kind of thing. Is that weird for me to say that?
Did Ted the Italian guy give you that one? Because it makes you think of the Sopranos. I forgot the name. He says you got your wife and then you got your Father Lazoo over here and this and that. That's what it made me think of. But let me ask you this.
It's just a matter of speaking, not saying anything. Nobody's got any mentions. Nope. You know what? We're too old for that business. But I love to go out and investigate still, and I can't imagine not be enjoying doing it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be to a point where it's drudgery. I want it to be fun, and we have a great time doing it.
Well, let me ask you this.
I don't know. You guys have a great time doing it? I would think you guys have a lot of fun, and it's hilarious.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you can't have fun doing whatever, because there's times there's going to be a lull and there's not a lot going on, and it's like, yeah, you're going to have to be able to entertain each other, or be able to go, hey, you remember that time? Just because I don't want to sit in dead silence,
well, right?
Because I don't ever shut up. But I was going to ask. We started talking about bread, and it made me think of something. It's not, of course, to me, Halloween season starts as soon as September's here. Okay, as soon as September, end of August, September, we are in the warm-up for October. If Christmas can get 3 or 4 months, Halloween can get 2. Sorry. So, anyway, I went in there and I air-popped some popcorn, took a little Karo syrup or K-Roll, however you want to pronounce it, put some non-sugar sweetener, and made popcorn balls. And they were pretty good. Is there anything that you do, either that has to be signature food for around Halloween, or if you're going to do an investigation, is there certain foods that you're like gets you more spiritually prepared or makes you wear? Because I don't think you necessarily want to load everybody up on beans, because every other EVP is going to be somebody farting and trying not to fart.
Honestly, we're lucky if we get to eat, because every time we go, it seems like something happens, and we just sort of forget, or we get wrapped up, and we end up there a lot longer. So next thing you know, we haven't eaten dinner, and we're trying to get a burger on the way out of town. We're just lucky to be fed at that point, because a lot of our investigations are further away too. But as far as comfort foods, in a perfect world, I would have a nice spread for the whole team where, we could all have a barbecue afterwards. I think that'd be great. Just, break bread and just calm down and talk and stuff, but it seems like it never seems to work out that way, unfortunately.
See,
but, it'd be a really wonderful thing if we could do it.
What I need to do is, because this is the South, and around October, you start getting hunting season starting and stuff. I'm not sure if deer season starts in November. Okay, whatever deer season is.
Yeah.
And say, okay, hey, we're going to go, we're going to investigate, say, from whatever. Let's just say you start hunting in the daylight. You can't hunt in the night unless it's raccoons or something. All right, say you go, okay, we'll meet up at 4 a.m. We're going to investigate for 2 hours, and then when that's done, we'll put the gear in the truck. We'll go shoot a deer, or we'll go shoot whatever the thing is. And if people don't hunt, that's okay. I don't really hunt, but I know a lot of people do because, again, I'm in the South. And go, hey, we'll get that deer, break it down, we'll throw some on the grill. Like you said, we'll have fresh venison. We listen to this stuff. Everybody's happy. And that's one thing. It's like they know food's coming. Most people will stick around and help you listen to the EVPs.
But you know what? This brings up something that, an old memory that they used to at the cemetery where, I don't know if they did this at other cemeteries or if it was something that they did back in the day or if it's just for this area. They used to have picnics at the cemeteries.
Yeah. And
this is way back.
Like Remembrance Day stuff.
How cool is that?
Yeah, if you say that to most people, you say that to most people today, it's like, well, what are you, some sort of ghoul? I said, we're not eating the frickin' bodies, lady. We're bringing food, and you're saying, oh, well, we're sitting here. You got your kids, and you're eating. Oh, well, who was that? Well, that was great Uncle Luke. He liked whatever fishing or this and that. Well, who's that? Well, that's Uncle Bob. Oh, I said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, he liked Uncle so-and-so's wife when he was out fishing, and that's why he's in the ground now. Whatever wonky, weird story there is. Maybe not tell it to the little kids.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think there was a level of comfort around the dead. It's like now when somebody dies, it's so impersonal. It's like you don't know them anymore. Suddenly they're fiendishly evil and they're going to come and get you. Well, it's like... it kind of bothers me a little bit because I like that. I love that idea. I would love to bring it back. I don't think anybody would do it with me.
Okay, there's a friend of mine, Rodney Amadeus Anonymous, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the band called the Dead Milkmen. They live up around Pennsylvania, and they will do stuff where they'll have a little music show or play silent movie, like movies from the era, like, okay, we're going to the section where it's like the 1930s. Okay, these people are more 1940s. Maybe a lot of people in the 1970s will play Shaft or something, and they'll put up a big sheet, and everybody will sit there, and they'll have their dinner, and they'll eat, and they'll visit with their families, and they'll watch a movie. But a lot of people have, I don't want to necessarily say a Europeanized vibe of it, but, you go through a Black Plague, and there's a reason people kind of knee-jerk go, they're dead, get them out of here. But... Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cultures that will go clean up, after a year, bring the body out, put a hat on them. Oh, Uncle Lou, he liked a good shot of sake. He'll put him a little sake on the table. He liked a cigarette, put a cigarette in his mouth. And then they'll put them back. Even some people will take the bones of all their people and bring them out and set with them. It's, if you look at a lot of those crypts and what do you call them? Cathedrals and things that's got all the bones in them. Which is extremely metal, but it's a thing of that it was kind of meant as love, and it was a way of remembering him and use, because they were I guess they had bodies everywhere. I'm assuming they cleaned them and said, well, look, we can't burn and bury all these bones, so let's incorporate it. I'm sure there's another reason for it too. Like the Peru, or like the different type of mummies that you would have lined up along the walls and stuff. Certain things are so low water levels, you can't put them in the ground, they'll pop back up. Like Louisiana, everything in New Orleans has to be planted above ground because they're at sea level or below sea level.
Well, actually, when I first started investigating up here, my first real investigation with my old investigation partner, he brought me to that same cemetery, and there are graves under the ground, or that are under the water there, and I didn't know. We never really talked about it, but I went home that night after my first investigation, had a nightmare that I was in a casket, and that the casket was filling up with water, and that the dead people were kind of keeping me in there, and they were really upset, and I was like, hey, it's kind of like, quit, I want to get out of here, and the water is like over me, and then that was the end of it. But I figured that was their way of expressing that they were not happy that those graves were under the water. And there's nothing I can do about it. I felt bad because I wanted to help them, but there's nothing I can do.
All right, full disclosure, that's probably going to go in a book because that's a crazy nightmare. Those bells again. If you're wondering, I've got the windows open here in my little studio, and I do air quote studio. Got to have that fresh air. And you'll hear the wind chimes, too. You'll hear wind chimes, and hopefully you won't hear a train, because it usually comes through here. But it's the weekend, so maybe I'll get a reprieve. Not
that big a deal. Honestly, my air compressor just popped on.
I'm not even hearing it.
Louder than all heck, and then I'm running around the front of the house trying to get away from it. It's one of the neighbors' cars goes by and doesn't have a muffler. Oh, boy.
Yeah. See here,
That's life.
like if the pickup trucks or the pick 'em up trucks or whatever you want to call them, people here call them pick 'em ups. So the pick 'em up trucks go
Really?
by. No, I'm lying. We're not that backward, but there's some people that go. You have some people that talk kind of like I do. You have some people that speak very much like this and very slow and kind of, like not quite a. It was the Gore guy, Al Gore, where he'd speak like this, but very slow. But then you got some people talk real quick like this here, and so you got all kinds. You got it all.
Oh,
Come to Western Kentucky. Come for the accent, stay for the really cheap living here. It is actually extremely cheap here living because
yeah, it is too, actually.
Real cheap.
Where I live, it's very, very reasonable to live here, but there's not a whole lot of work. That's the problem.
That's it. That's why everybody's got to commute back and forth or start their own business. Like here, meth. There's a lot of entrepreneurs here. That deal from their vehicles, as they might say. Yeah, not so much in my neighborhood because I try to shut that. I shut that stuff down. Yeah, a lot of furniture on the back of trucks.
It's a very, very. Our area here is pretty isolated. Nobody wants to live this far north. That's a pretty big inhibitive factor. Where criminals want to be somewhere where they can go out and do crime all the time. They don't really want to be somewhere where they freeze their butts off doing it.
Well, it's like, okay, so what? It's like, so what do we got to steal? Tire chains, some snow blowing equipment, but like everyone has a snow blower because it's 6 foot deep. The closest pawn shop is like 200 miles, and it's frozen, and there's a snowstorm right now. So yeah, that probably wouldn't be the place unless it's a polar bear or something stealing food out of your fridge. I don't think you'd have a problem.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we don't have polar bears here, but we have regular bears. We had one last year.
We're getting them. We're starting to get not polar bears, but we're getting bears.
Remy went outside, and he walks right out there, and Bill is behind him, fortunately, because he didn't go out by himself. Goes out there, he's just a few steps in front of Bill, goes, "Hi, bear!" And Bill runs up there, and there's that bear right up there looking at him.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. Yeah, it didn't even seem like it was worried about people at all. I think it was a little too acclimated, and I think it's probably been relocated by now. I don't know what happened, but I'm assuming so.
I'm different. I probably should be more like, oh, well, that's just one of my nature brothers, and he's all cool. And I'm thinking, I'm just seeing my kid getting took apart like a Raggedy Ann doll. And so I go straight into, kill it now. So, yeah.
Well, in this area, our bears happen to be very timid, just in general. Unless they're super hungry or diseased, you really don't have to worry about a black bear in our area, at least. They're afraid of you.
Do you give them CBD oil or something, like brownies, like some pot brownies?
Pot brownies.
Be like Yogi Bear laying out on the side. They'd be stealing your picnic baskets and stuff.
Well, you know what? They like to steal your garbage. That's the problem with them up here, because they like to get into all that and drag it all the way across.
Yeah, that's no
but
good.
I just heard about a smart bear from some people I just met. They said they had a bear that was so smart, and
how smart was he?
Their teenage kids and saying, "Why haven't you where's the garbage? The garbage isn't out there." And they're like, "I took it out," and then the garbage would be gone. Well, that bear took the bag, and instead of just dropping it and ripping it open like they usually do, that bear had figured out to bring it all the way into the woods first and then dig through it.
See,
because then it never got busted. Okay,
you need to train these bears. Okay, another business idea. If you have a city dump, have them right on the back of the thing. They'll throw it in there. They know they're going to get it. The bear throws it in there. You drive the truck. You take them out to the dump. You dump it. They can roll in that all day till the next day, and they eat all the food. They get it back, and you take them into town again. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
We have a bear center, actually, just about 45 minutes from where I am right now. And they basically have these bears just kind of roaming. And really, you're in the cage. The bears are kind of free. They're roaming around, and you're in an enclosed area. So you're kind of above them. So they don't, obviously you're not bear lunch, but they're in a happy little bear reserve and doing their little bear stuff. There's little baby bears in the springtime. I think it's kind of cool.
I mean,
bears are a spiritual animal, you know.
No, that's groovy.
They are.
All animals are super chill. It's just I also know that I'm potentially lunch, so I'm not just gonna go, Brother Bear, just give me a hug in a second. What are you doing with my shoulders? I don't want to be that guy. Because you always see those guys that want to walk in there and hug somebody. They watch Jungle Book too much, and I'm like, no, let's not do that. They just reintroduced wolves back here, and so now people are having wolves breeding with coyotes. So you got like what would you call a wolf coyote? Coyotes?
I don't know what you call them.
Danger. That's what I call them.
They interbreed. I didn't think did they interbreed? I know some of them do.
I know coyotes will interbreed with dogs. So I'm assuming if they can interbreed with common dogs, I mean all dogs are from wolves, right? I thought
they could, but I thought there was some sort of, I don't know. I didn't know timber wolves could. I don't think timber wolves can cross with coyotes, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I could definitely be.
And it might be a different type of wolf. I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't know.
You want to hear the most unearthly sound? We have, I think, what is, my neighbor said she saw them not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago. She saw bobcat and kittens, but
we've got bobcats here.
Bobcats fighting. Oh my gosh, an unearthly sound you never heard, and waking you up in the middle of the night, that will make your blood chill, and your hair goes all the way up, and you're just it's pretty freaky.
Let me tell you a story from the annals of Super Cool Me when I was like 17 or 18 years old. Super Cool Me had a moped. So Super Cool Me and another little friend of mine, he was a skinny kid, he could ride on the back. This is how cool we were.
Right.
So our big adventures are, there's Princeton, there's Ediville, there's Fredonia, there's, Dawson Springs, and a few other little towns nearby us, Marion, Kentucky. And so we'll go, hey, we're going to take the back roads. We're going to ride these at night. We're going to go exploring. So we're driving in between these towns. Maybe 15 miles either way. Nothing. Dead nothing. No street lights. Nothing. Paved roads maybe. Gravel most likely. Sometimes dirt. So we're riding this, and everything's gassed up, but I was always a big kid. So we're going up a hill, and I was like, well, hey man, I can't get enough speed up this gravel. We're gonna have to push it up the road. So we get out, and everything's dead silent. It was real weird. I said, it's strange. Why is it so quiet? And you hear that. I can't do it. It's like a really high scream, like a woman. I was like, oh my God, what is that? He says, I don't know. And so we keep pushing it up the hill, and it's still no sound. And then we hear it again, if it's really close then, right? And I went, that's not cool, man. So now I start feeling I'm in like American Werewolf from London, like it's circling us. So finally we kind of hightailed it up this hill, and then we started seeing, I guess there was a family of bobcats, and we could see them in just enough light to see, and our tail lights, it like reflected in their eyes. You could see 3 or 4 of them coming up the hill toward us. So we got on it and boogied out of there. And you could still hear them screaming. Not cool.
Wow.
Not cool. So, bobcats.
Wow.
Bobcats.
And there's a family of them? Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they breed. I guess we caught them at the time when they weren't like small, but they were like a handful of them. So I don't know if they run in packs or not.
I've actually petted one. Somebody brought one to the college when I was going to college in Bemidji, and I was allergic to cats, and I remember, that it was definitely bigger than any cat I've ever seen, but it wasn't like huge either.
Right.
I don't know.
They're
but
just
they said
crazy
that
strong.
I would be more allergic to that than a regular cat.
You'd think.
So I had to wash my hand real quick.
Well, let me ask you this.
But I'm not allergic anymore. So.
Well, let's say it was an inoculation. Inoculate your kids, guys, or they're going to fall off flat Earth.
You know what inoculated me actually was having my first child. Actually, I got when I got pregnant with my first child, I lost my allergy to cats. So now I'm no longer allergic to cats anymore.
But did the baby
develop
it?
Which I had a pretty severe allergic reaction every time I would be around one.
Did your little one get the allergy, or did they not get it either?
What's that?
Did your little one get the allergy, or did they block or miss out on that?
Nope. They're perfectly fine. Everybody's pretty much allergy free. I'm slightly allergic, like if the dogs get wet or if I'm around one of them that gets wet, but my allergies have gone down.
Like you go into 90%. A house and somebody's like done spring cleaning and dust on the air and dander, and you're like, right.
Not like, not cats anymore. I'm not allergic to cats for some reason.
That's good. This is the way to be. If you can be, if you can suffer, like my oldest girl gets really funny about it, and they'll try to, like, pet, neighborhood cats and stuff that come through. But sometimes they can do it, sometimes they can't. It all sort of depends on, like you said, the weather and whatever. So, what we're going to do is, we're winding down on those last few minutes of stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Kirsten here what's going on with some of their upcoming things, different events, whatnot, what they're getting into, what they have planned. Because obviously everybody has stuff. It always picks up during Halloween. And so I'm going to ask her, see what's going on.
I figured out something.
Yeah.
I figured out something. That anytime someone tries to call me, Skype crashes.
Oh. Well, look.
I did not know that this happened.
That's okay. Well, look, as I was telling the audience, as I was reconnecting with you, we're in that last few minutes slide. So what I want to know is what's some stuff that you maybe got planned, some stuff that you want to talk about here in the next 2 minutes. What's something that's like, hey, I've got blah, blah coming up, or I want to do this and that.
Well, actually, trying to wrap up the end of the season for ghost hunting up here, because once it's winter, we don't do a whole lot up here. So we'll be, actually, I'm hoping to get to go out for my birthday next weekend and go ghost hunting with my sweetie, because that's what we do for couples night. We go ghost hunting together. But Mystical Minnesota Paranormal will be featured in, well, not featured, but mentioned in Bobby Gallo's new book, and you can look it up under his name on Amazon. It's number 10 right now. So he's doing real well with his brand new book, and pretty much a like-minded guy. He's got a lot of the same kind of ideas that we do, and I know you do too, probably, Steve. So if anybody's interested in taking a look, I told him I'd give him a plug however I could. You know.
Yeah, send Bobby my way. Tell him, if he wants to come on the show, I'm always glad to have him, and, support people who do what I call competent investigations.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's an active investigator too, so yeah, I will definitely mention that to him. I think he'd be very interested. And he's actually from New Jersey, but he is in Pennsylvania now. Just moved down there, so.
Transplant.
So, yeah. So, anyway, but other than that, we're just kind of doing the season end thing. Our cemetery stuff is winding down, and we'll be doing maybe whatever private ones come up. But it's been pretty lean this year. It's been quiet. I don't know if that's for everybody, but.
Everything's secular, it's just the nature of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But other than that, we'll just keep doing what we do, and come find us on Facebook. Our group is Mystical Minnesota Paranormal, and we also have a page. There's a page and a group. So add one, add both, but definitely add the group, because we go through photo analysis, which is a lot of fun. People like it. Get to pick out ghosts out of our pictures.
I'm gonna have you back on with some more pictures and show it, and we can try to do a live show so I can get more people coming in and asking questions about it. But Kirsten, we're right at the end of it, and if you'll hang on for just one second, I'll talk to you after this. But I got to do a quick outro.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, talk to you in a second. There it was. Kirsten Klang, super laid back person, king of the air compressor machine, knows what she's doing. I didn't even know it was there. I never even heard it. But everybody, I want to make sure you guys go out there, enjoy that day, get some sun on your face. But as the sun sets behind the pines and the shadows grow long, make sure to look under your bed, under your closet, under your air compressor. You never know what may be there. But, there's fear in learning, and that's pretty groovy. So, until next time, I love you guys more than a fat kid loves cake, and I'm a fat kid and I love cake. But until next time, take care, love each other, try to learn something, be humble. Always be humble, and stay scared, everybody.